Attorney Brian Dailey, broadcasting live from high atop the Law Show studios in the Windy City, Chicago, answering all your legal questions right now at 855-LAW-SHOW. That's 855-529-7469. Answering questions about injury, answering questions about insurance claims, answering questions about family law at the bottom of the hour with Debra Crane, one of our lawyers in the Chicago office, answering legal questions about how to divorce, whether to divorce, what you should be concerned about if you've got a divorce where there's nothing but debt, or if you've got a divorce where you've got tremendous amounts of assets and money. She's been doing it for about 20 years. She's really, really good. She strikes fear in the hearts of other lawyers because she is so great at what she does. She's going to join us at the bottom of the hour to answer all those questions, and we're looking forward to that. I have some bad news, and I have some good news. The bad news is that Chicago and Illinois and really all of America has lost a great man, a great advocate for the rights of people against the evil of corporate America in injury cases. Philip H. Corboy, longtime lawyer known in Chicago, passed away this week, unfortunately. And that's really bad news because it's a great loss to Chicago. It's a great loss to Illinois. It's a great loss to America. He single-handedly took on the corporate interests and blew them out in the name of taking care of people's interests. He represented people. That's all he represented. He didn't represent the corporate America. He didn't represent the elite. He didn't represent people like that. He represented people like you and me, people that get up, go to work every single day. He was a great man, and we will miss him dearly. There's an old story, though, about the wall between heaven and hell, and it broke down, and St. Peter came out to the wall and said, hey, Satan, this wall's broken. It's broken on your side. You better fix it. If you don't, I'm going to sue you. Well, Satan would respond earlier by saying, well, where do you think you're going to find a lawyer? Well, now St. Peter has a lawyer, one of the greatest lawyers in all of America. Philip H. Corboy is going to be called upon to sue Satan to repair that wall. Godspeed. We miss you, and we really appreciate everything you've done. And this is a tribute to you, Philip H. Corboy, and your legacy is in good hands. We will carry the torch forward, continue to represent people against the evil corporate interests, and that's what we're going to do, and we appreciate your leadership, and we will miss it. But Godspeed, you're deserving of the rest, and we'll see you another day. I'm Brian Dailey. I'm broadcasting live from high atop the Law Show studios in the Windy City, Chicago, answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. As I do every single week, I'm going to do it again, because every week I do this, I get a call from somebody who says, hey, I was in the hospital, and they were supposed to amputate my left arm. They actually amputated my right arm. And that was about 3 years ago they did that. Do I still have time to sue? And the answer is no, you don't. Because there's only 2 years to sue for a medical malpractice claim in the state of Illinois. So don't wait. If you have even the slightest inkling that you've got some sort of a case, you need to get into a lawyer immediately to find out what kind of a case you've got, if you've got a case at all. You should prefer a lawyer that will not charge you for the initial consultation like the lawyers of the Dailey Law Firm. There's many lawyers out there that want to charge for just a little bit of time. We don't do that. We never have, and we never will. So call us if you have a legal question or if you want to find out if you've got any rights at all, and we'll sit down and talk with you for as much time as it takes. Sometimes these initial consultations go on for days and hours, and sometimes they go on for weeks. I remember one client came in, and he and I had the initial consultation over a course of about 1.5 years. And he finally decided to hire our firm, and he hired our firm, and he was really glad he did because we accomplished all of his legal needs. I'm answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. I'm going to go to the phones right now. I'm going to talk to Marty. Marty, you're on the Law Show.
Good morning.
Morning. What can I do for you, Marty?
My fiance has a judgment against a couple that she advanced $50,000 to.
How much?
$50,000.
50? 50?
Yes.
Wow.
And it ends up that we were going to try to get a lien on their mortgage.
Okay.
And we found out they have a reverse mortgage.
Okay.
That's maxed out through the bank.
Right.
And my question is, if she gets a judgment against that property, will she see her money before the bank sees their money?
Maybe. depends on the value of the property. I mean, if you're talking about a piece of property on the Gold Coast, I expect those properties, to come back from their low values eventually. But who knows when that's going to happen?
No. This is a property in Wisconsin that's probably worth 150 to 200, but the bank's already loaned them probably 80% of that value.
Yeah, what you should do, what you should do is you should put a lien against that property anyway. Okay, then that will stop anybody from lending any more money on it. Okay.
Well, technically, isn't it the bank that's loaned them the money?
Yeah, the bank is
owning the property.
Yeah, the bank has loaned them the money, but the bank's not going to loan them any more money, and nobody else will loan them any more money if there's another judgment out there, right? So you could put the judgment against that piece of property, and then actually sue for foreclosure. And then what you would have to do is you would have to take the bank out. In other words, you could buy the bank's lien for whatever they've got in it, and then you could go after that couple and try to evict them and take them out of their home. The problem that you may face is that in the reverse mortgage, you're going to be stuck with the language in that contract. And typically it says that these people cannot be taken out of their home as long as the debt is paid. All right? But you may be able to put your second interest first if you own both of them. What you need to do is you need to get with Brian Russell and Scott Decius of my office and sit down and talk with them. Let them see what's going on. Are you sure there's no other assets anywhere else?
No, they just have, her husband has, a pension. She's on Social Security. And I understand you can't put any kind of judgment on a Social Security income.
No, you can't go after Social Security. There's no question about that. But there's nothing else. How do you know that there's nothing else? Have you asked for a private investigator to do an examination of their assets?
That's the next step we were going to do.
Okay.
I just thought if the bank loaned them, let's say $100,000, the property's worth $100. Before the bank gets their money, does a lien take precedent over the bank?
No. If the bank has their mortgage first, listen, if the bank has their mortgage first and they've recorded it before you've recorded your interest, then they're going to be primary. The couple things that you could do. You could buy out the bank's interest, like I said, or you could have an analysis done of the mortgage and try to file suit against the bank to prevent them from collecting, hoping that you find some irregularity that will blow them out. But, I mean, that's going to be unusual because their papers are usually bulletproof, right?
Right.
So what did they use the money for?
Pardon me?
What did they use the money for?
Attorney fees for a grandmother rights case.
They did what?
To exercise their grandparents' rights.
And did they get the grandparents' rights exercised?
Yes, they did.
And they're not willing to pay?
No.
They're not paying you anything?
Not one dime over the last 40 years.
That's horrible. I'm so sorry that happened. You know what? I don't like it when people do stuff like that. It irritates the heck out of me. I just don't get it.
And we agreed just to accept $300 a month.
And they're not even paying that.
Pay that. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you know what? What kind of?
And then they ended up not even seeing their granddaughter after a year.
How come?
They just, that's a very good question. We have to have that answer.
Did they use the entire $50,000 on trying to get the grandparents' rights?
Yes.
Wow.
And they received them, and then after a year, they just stopped seeing them.
Yeah. Well, listen, you need to get a good investigator to do an asset check because you never know. I mean, if they've been dishonest with you about, whether or not they're going to pay you, they may be dishonest about whether or not they've got any other money. Maybe they've got a boat.
Right.
Maybe they've got a car. Maybe that. You know what? You got to go after them because this is not right. This is just not courteous. This is not. This is rude. This is rude the way that they're treating your girlfriend. This is terrible, and they shouldn't do that. So get yourself a
savings that she gave up.
Don't give up. Get yourself a good private investigator. Brian Russell in my Chicago office can help you find somebody and do an asset check and go deep into the asset check, and then do what you can to collect. I mean, if they must have something, that the bank doesn't have a lien on. The bank's got a lien on the house, but it doesn't have a lien on TVs and things like that. So the problem that you may face eventually is if they declare bankruptcy, then you're totally out. All right?
Right.
So
and they do that after a trial?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They can. I mean, that won't destroy your interest in their property, but if you're a mortgage holder on the property, nobody's going to be able to do anything with that. So you should at least do that for sure. What kind of a property is it? Is it a lake property?
It's a lake property, yeah. But they live there all year round.
You know, are you sure it's only worth $150,000?
From what the paperwork I saw, it looks like it, yeah.
Well, I think you should still submit your lien. You should contact Brian Russell in my Chicago office and have him help you do that, and then submit the lien against the property and then begin immediate foreclosure procedures, okay?
Okay, thank you. I'll call on Monday.
Very good. Thanks for calling the Law Show. We're going to continue answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. That's 855-529-7469. It's 855 Law Show. I'm answering all your legal questions about many different areas of the law, including medical malpractice and insurance claims and criminal cases and traffic cases and drunk driving cases and all kinds of other things like that. You know what? The law is a great thing because it can be a tool for you to help you get further in life, but you shouldn't use that tool like these last people we heard about used the tool to screw somebody out of money that they borrowed to get visitation with their granddaughter. How horrible! They should meet my little friend named Karma, because something's going to come back at them and bite them, and it should, because you know what? I hate it when people use the law like that. It's just terrible. It's not anything in my wheelhouse, and it'll never be. I'm Attorney Brian Dailey. I'm broadcasting live from high atop the Law Show studios in the Windy City, Chicago, answering all your legal questions at 855-529-7469. That's 855 Law Show. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, you're going to be hearing all about family law from Debra Crane. So stay tuned, and I'll be back, Brian Dailey, at 855-529-7469.